what were they trying to do to us as kids in these games? Like, honestly, these Nintendo games still scar me. Even with all my knowledge now, like 20-something years later, I still can't beat them. They're so hard. They want all your arcade money, that's why Nintendo did that. Yo, this is Chris, and today I am bringing you my top favorite NES games that are still very hard to beat. Now let's get to it. And starting off the countdown is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I absolutely love the first game and the second game. I think I hated the first game more, and I specifically remember one level that I always got to and I always hated and could not stand this freaking level. It's the underwater level. No matter how slow, no matter how great I navigated, that reef always electrocuted me, killed me no matter what. That's the only level right now that I can remember that drove me insane. I hate that game, but I love that game. I fucking hate that game. It's a love-hate relationship, but it's one of my most memorable games on NES that I've played. I feel like Ninja Turtles 2 is the only game I beat on my Nintendo. I always remember April, like getting to April and that very first boss. I was like, I'm gonna save you, girl. I'm gonna save you, April. He's not gonna take you away. And guess what? Every time I always had that hope of April not being taken away, but she was always taken away. I don't know, I had a really mad crush on April. I loved April. She was my favorite. Coming in, why can't I say this? I forgot the name. I keep wanting to say Kung Fu Fighters. Coming in on number 9 is Kung Fu Heroes. This game was not too popular, but it's basically about two ninja brothers just fighting their way through levels where enemies spawn, like they walk across the screen and just hit them, and then there's also these rocks that you punch that leave you to this bonus stage. It's a portal, and it's so much fun. That was the only thing I always wanted to achieve. And in the bonus round, there's like bullets underneath, there's specials that pop underneath there so you can like kung fu your way, flip around them and get the bonus, and there's like apples or hearts. I don't remember, you just punch it and get bonus points. It was so much fun, but it was so hard. Even with 2 players, my brother and I could never beat that game. The music to this next game was so catchy. Next game is Double Dragon 2. In Double Dragon 2, The Revenge, you play either as Billy or Jimmy Lee. Actually, so you don't know who's the red one and who's the blue one. But I believe this was the best 2-player game in Nintendo history because all the levels were so entertaining. Yeah, they were hard, but they were very memorable, and the enemies were always so funky. Sometimes the punching and kicking would be a little annoying because you would miss hits if you're not in the same line as your enemy, if you know what I mean. But doing all the jump kicks were so satisfying for me. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed this game, and that's why I pick Double Dragon 2 as my number 8. I love this song. This is a song I would be dancing to if I were at a club. I would just be jamming. Get over here! So coming in on number 7 is WWF's WrestleMania. I think this is one of the first games I have ever played as a kid. I started playing Nintendo when I was 3-4 years old. So in the game you got to pick from various wrestlers like $1 Million Man, Hulk Hogan, Bang Bang Bigelow, Honky Tonk Man, which was my favorite, Macho Man, Randy Savage, and more characters I'm trying to think of. I'm just like looking through what other characters they had. Andre the Giant, they had Andre the Giant. They had Hulk Hogan, of course. I'm pretty sure this game was one of the first WWF games they released, which is now WWE since they changed the name. What's so funny about this game is the way the characters walked. They're like waddling like a penguin. It was so funny. And then I feel like the moves were always delayed. Like I would press like A or B to do a punch or a kick, and 1 second, 2-second delay. Oh, there he goes, he punches it. I should have moved this to number 10. WWF was one of my favorite wrestling games, even though it was so hard to control the character. Every time I hear that, I always tend to do this. I don't know why. Making my number 6 list is Donkey Kong Classic. I'm sure everyone remembers Mario climbing up to save his princess from Donkey Kong. This game, it's actually not that hard, but you have to have so much patience to jump, have to time everything. And this game, I would get so impatient that sometimes I would just jump it, get to the point. Donkey Kong Jr., I feel like was the funnest from the two, because you can play Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong Jr. And Donkey Kong is with Mario saving Princess, and Donkey Kong Jr. is little Donkey Kong Jr. trying to save his caged up dad from Mario. Man, Mario was pretty evil. Poor Donkey Kong, he was in a cage. PETA, you better start getting to this. Running into my top 5 is Mylon's Secret Castle. I cringe because I hate this game so much. I hate it. I hate it and I love it. I don't know, hey, this is my most memorable NES game, so this was very memorable. And it's funny, it has a story behind Mylon's Secret Castle. I spent years trying to figure out how you get past the first and the second level. There was always something, I'm like, there's always a secret. I was still like a little kid until one day during elementary, I would always talk video games with my next door lunch neighbor, Fernando. He was awesome. I told him like, you know what, I cannot beat this game. I don't know what you had to do. And then he told me like, oh, you just have to jump above this platform, or oh, and a little musical note or something pops up. And that's how you know, get the key. And I'm like, what? Wait, what? I just had to do that. I remember going home that day, plugged it in, and I'm like, no crap. No crap. I finally figured out, then I went past the second level and got stuck there. I don't know what to think of this game. Why did I put it number 5? Coming in on number 4 is another fun yet really hard game. No surprise there. It's Yonoid. So Yonoid, it was based on a Domino's character, kind of like a red bunny guy. It's kind of creepy thinking about it right now. I'm really glad Domino's got rid of him as a character, because it actually kind of scares me. So what made this game so memorable for me was that bonus stage after you beat the first level, which was pretty easy but really hard because the jumps just lacked so much strength. And plus you had barely any lives too. But when you got to the end, you did this bonus stage with your enemy, another Yonoid guy, and you would compete to see who would eat the most pizzas and try to outdo each other. That was my most favorite part of that game. I was addicted to Yonoid. At one point, it's all I played. And I don't think I ever beat this game either. It was fun for what it was. So we're gonna go on to the next one before I start crying, knowing that I never beat this game. Coming in on number 3 is actually Super Mario Brothers 2. Yes, it's not the first one or the third one, even though those were really fun. My most favorite was number 2, then it would be number 3, then to number 1. I was torn between 3 and 2 because I love 3. It made me feel magical, like I was in another world playing this. I didn't feel like I was in the real world. It made me have a bigger imagination, Super Mario 3, because I would always fly, go in the clouds. Affected a lot of my dreams. A lot of dreams I had as a kid. But Super Mario 2, I think this is the first game that taught me to strategize, because you would have to do things. You would have to get a potion and to open up a door to get the mushroom. You have to like bomb things to go get this magic door. And I absolutely loved that there was a slot machine that you would, it's like a bonus. I think that is what started my addiction, playing slot machines in Vegas. You know, jumping in this game was so much fun because I love how Luigi just jumped. He kind of like floated up in the air, and then you would jump on the enemies too. And there was like some weird enemies. I don't even know what they were. What is that? But Super Mario 2 was my most favorite game. Coming in on number 2 is a horror game. Basically a horror kid game. It is Monster Party. I don't know if a lot of people know about this game. I don't know if it was that popular. But what made this game awesome was it was so gruesome. Monster Party is a classic horror game, and it had a bunch of weird elements to it. Like, you gotta fight a breaded shrimp, an onion ring, you gotta fight I think a cat in a box throwing kittens. It was really weird. The premise of this game is that you're a little kid walking out from maybe a baseball game. He sees a star, and that star is not really a star but a monster, a dragon monster, who comes to tell this kid, hey, you know, our world has a lot of monsters. Can you help me combat these monsters with me? So he basically kidnaps the boy, and he goes into this crazy world of horror creatures that are just going crazy. So your job is to kill everything and get past each level, and this game honestly is very, very long and very, very, very hard. I have never beat this game. It's one of the few games that you actually plugged in codes and it will bring you back to your stage. So there's a bunch of levels. It was funny because you would have to get this pill. It's like, yeah, you gotta get the drug, the pill kids, to turn into the dragon, or to turn into, when was that guy? To turn into that dragon guy. Yeah, Matcha Party is a game that really stands out to me because it combined my love for horror with games. Nintendo would be nothing without this game for me. Number 1 is the most charming, nostalgic, funnest, and most creative game out of all of Nintendo. It is Little Nemo Dream Master by Capcom, and it is based on a comic strip called Little Nemo in Slumberland by Winsor McKay. Now, this game really takes me back. I just remember always playing it as a kid, even going into my teens, as when I was 13, 14. I'm a little old. What I loved about this game is that you got to role play and become animals. You got to be a mole, you got to be a bee, you got to be a fish, and it really shaped me as a person growing up because it gave me such a creative mind. It made my imagination just blow up as a kid. You know, I feel like kids nowadays really lack these innocent yet charming games that my generation grew up with. You know, right now it's another different world now. I feel like any kid today would love Little Nemo. Nemo rounds up to number 1, being my most favorite. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching my countdown of my most favorite, hardest, most memorable Nintendo games. And let me know, what was your most favorite Nintendo game? In the comments below, let me know. And if you want to follow me on social media, please do so. Links are below. And please be sure, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. Let's get this a rolling. Every single subscriber will get a candy and a puppy. No, ice cream and a puppy. See ya!